Afternoon to one and all. My name is Swapna Priya Pavuluri. I am from KGPV Nadandla, Guntur district. Today I am dealing 9th class physics, first lesson, June syllabus. Hi children, how are you? A very good afternoon to one and all. Children, what is the time now? Now the time is 1:30 p.m. I have a small doubt. Now what is the time in USA? I think it is nearly 3 a.m. What is the reason for the difference in these timings? Can anybody guess? Yes, exactly. The reason behind this is the earth is always in motion. Yes. Why? Because the earth is always in motion. Okay. Today our topic is motion. Okay. In this lesson, today we will discuss about what is motion, what is meant by relative, is there any relation between the motion and relative? What is meant by motion? What is meant by relative? Is there any relation between motion and relative? Now we will discuss about each one in detail. Children, we are very much familiar with the different types of motion which we are observing in our daily lives. For example, motion of a boat, motion of an aeroplane, motion of a car, and motion of a earth. Only because of that reason, the earth revolves around the sun. Only because of that reason, we are having sunrise and sunset. Okay. This is all about motion. What that means, each and every object which is on the earth is always in motion. Yes, it is right. So many of you feel that you are not in motion when you sat on a chair or when you are in a good sleep. Is it right? No. You are always in motion with respect to the earth. Then why don't you perceive the motion of the earth? Why don't you perceive? Perceive means feel. Why don't you feel the motion of the earth? There are two reasons. Number one, why? Because the earth is a huge one when compared to ours. Okay. The mass of the earth is very greater than when compared to our mass. Okay. So our mass is negligible. That's why we are not able to feel. We are not able to feel the motion of the earth. And the second reason is the earth is always having the gravitational force. We learned about gravitational force in 8th class first lesson force. Gravitational force belongs to contact force. Okay. Do you remember that one? Yes, very good. Because of that gravitational force, earth always attracts each and every object, and there must be contact force between the things which are on the earth and the earth. Okay, so there is attraction. Because of that attraction, when we are feeling, when the earth is in rotation, we are also simultaneously in motion. Okay, this is all about motion. Now, to understand the motion in a clear way, we need to understand the meaning of the word relative. Telugulo, relative means sapeksham. What is that? Sapeksham, which plays an important role in explaining the motion. Okay. So, what is relative? Relative is a field which depends upon the observer, which depends upon the situation, which depends upon place. Okay. For example, left and right, up and down, day and night, longer and shorter, etc. These are all the examples for relative. We will discuss each one of them in detail. See how beautiful pictures. First one, left and right. Students, open your textbooks and observe the figures which are having in your textbooks. to make it easily, to understand easily, I gathered the same pictures to you. Okay. First one, left and right. In this picture, there is a hut and tree, and there are two persons. One is A and second one is named as B. Okay. Now, the person feels that the tree is in left side of me. Is it right? Yes. Now, the person A feels that the tree is in right side of me. Is it right? Yes, it is also right. The statements A and B both are right. The statements A and B both are right. How does it happen? Yes. If you are in the place of A, then it is right. If you stand at the place of B, observer, then it one also right. That means both statements are right. So, left and right is a relative term. And next one, coming to example up and down. In this picture, there is a globe and there are four persons. Person A, person B, person C and person D. Now, just imagine you are at A. You are at the place A. Now, the person A feels that the person B is in downside of me. Person A feels that the person B is downside of me. And in the same way, the person B also feels that the person A is in downside of me. Is it right? Yes, both statements are right. Okay, so it depends upon the observer. In the same way, this picture seems just like the sunrise and this is the sunset. Okay, in India, if it is the sunrising time, in abroad it may be sunset. So both the two observations are right. So left and right, up and down, sunrise and sunset. That means day and night and longer and shorter. Both, all of these terms are relative to each other. For example, children, just imagine there is a big hill. There is a big hill just in front of you. That means you are very much closer to a hill. Then what do you feel? How big the hill is? The hill seems to be very big one. Okay. Now just come far away from that hill. Just come far away from that hill. Then if you again observe that hill, you feel that it is not much bigger than in the case 1, than in the situation, than in the before situation. So that means, is the hill changes its volume? No, it depends upon the observer. So longer and shorter are also the relative terms. Now we coming to the topic, is motion is relative. At first we discussed about the motion and next we discussed about relative. Is motion is relative or not? 100% the motion is relative. Yes. Like the terms right and left, up and down, day and night, etc. Motion is also relative to the observer. See this picture, children. What are in this picture? Just observe carefully. There is a big tree and there are two persons, Somesh and Srinu. Okay. Somesh and Srinu. And next one, there is a car having driver and the passenger also. Okay. There is one conversation between the Srinu and Somesh. There is a conversation between Srinu and Somesh. Now, Srinu is asking to Somesh, Somesh, what is the state of motion of the tree? Then Somesh replied, Srinu, it is in the rest position. Okay. Next, again, Srinu asked another question. Somesh, what is the state of the car? Then Somesh replied, it is in motion due to east. He mentioned the direction also. Okay. Then again one more question Srinu asked to Somesh. Somesh, what is the state of motion of the driver along with the passenger? Then what reply did Somesh give? Just think, if you are the Somesh, what reply you will give? Yes, exactly. Somesh replied that with respect to us, Manalani Batti, the car is always changing its place with respect to the time. That's why the car is in motion. Okay, the car is in motion. This is all about this picture. And next one, see this picture. This is also in your textbook. Is it right? Yes. Observe the same picture, but little bit changes are there. Now, a beautiful conversation between passenger and the driver. Passenger and the driver. Now, the driver is asking to the passenger, sir, what is the state of motion of the tree? What is state of motion of the tree? Then the passenger replied, sir, the tree is in motion due to west. He replied that the tree is moving in west side direction. Okay. Then again driver asked one more question to the passenger. Sir, what is the state of motion of those two persons? Then again passenger replied, those two persons are also moving in the east side direction due to west. They are also moving due to west. And the driver asked again one more question to the passenger. Sir, what is the state of my position? Then passenger replied, you are at rest position. What did the passenger reply? You are at rest position. Their conversation is also right with respect to them. Okay. Okay, from the both two situations, from the both two conversations, the tree is in rest with respect to Somesh and the tree is in motion with respect to the driver. Both statements are right. Okay. In this picture, the tree is in rest position. They feels like that. And in this picture, the tree is in motion. The driver and the passenger feels like that. So that means the motion and the rest of an object depends upon the observer. So motion is how can we define the motion means? So motion is a combined property of the observer and the body which is being observed. So chalanam, motion means chalanam. Chalanam అనేది ఎలా చెప్పవచ్చు అంటే ఇది పరిశీలకుడు మరియు చలించే వస్తువుల యొక్క ఉమ్మడి ధర్మంగా మనం చెప్పవచ్చు. When a body is said to be in motion, a body is said to be in motion when its position is changing with respect to relative to the observer. Okay, we can understand the motion with two more concepts. Those are nothing but distance and displacement. Distance and displacement. Drawing the path and distinguishing between the distance and displacement. Okay. Just imagine children, or you may also do this small activity. I have a small paper ball. Okay. Now I am throwing this paper ball in a horizontal direction. I am throwing this paper ball not in vertical position, in horizontal direction by making some angle. Okay. Then the paper ball travels some distance, travels some path and finally reaches to the ground after some time. Okay. See this. This is the path traveled by the paper ball. Okay, and finally reached to the ground. And next one, again the same paper ball I am throwing on the floor. I am throwing on the floor. Okay. Then also the paper ball moves, covered some path and finally reached to the ground. Just like this. Okay. This is the path covered when I thrown the paper ball in an horizontal direction, and this is the path covered by the same paper ball on the floor. Okay, on the floor with some velocity. Here the initial position is considered as A and the final position is considered as B. Okay. See, here we have two paths. Those are, one is ASB and the second one is AB. First one is ASB and the second one is AB. By comparing those two paths, we have an idea that ASB takes longer time. It is having a longest path to reach its final destination, and whereas in AB the path is very less. It covered a little distance, but it covered a little path, but it reached to the final destination. So the longest path which is covered by the paper ball is said to be distance. Okay, is it clear? Yes. Like once again I am repeating, the longest path covered by any object to reach its final destination, to reach its ending point, that path is said to be the distance. And the lowest path which is covered by the object to reach its final destination is said to be displacement. Okay, is said to be displacement. Both are having the velocity. Distance is also having velocity and displacement also. Okay, is it clear? The longest path covered by the object is said to be the distance, and the shortest path covered by the object is said to be the displacement. Here, one more thing I have to explain about vector and a scalar. Those are again a new terms. Okay, one is vector and a second one is a scalar. What is scalar and what is vector? What is scalar and what is vector? Scalar is a thing, the physical quantity which do not require any direction, for its specification is said to be scalar. Okay, see this picture. In this picture, if we throw the paper ball, if the paper ball can move in any direction. There need not to be direction. Okay, so it has to reach its final position, and that's enough. So we may call distance is also an example for the scalar. Okay, there is no need to describe about the direction. That quantity is said to be scalar. For example, time, temperature, mass, length, area, work, etc. are also considered as examples for the scalar. Next, coming to the vector. The physical quantity which requires both magnitude and direction for its specification, that is said to be the vector. Just observe the difference between the scalar and the vector. Okay, children, in scalar only magnitude is enough, whereas in vector it is must having both magnitude as well as direction also. Okay, so in this picture, see this one, A and B. here we having an arrow. Here we having an arrow. This arrow indicates the direction. This arrow indicates the direction. So we may say that the vector is a displacement is a vector quantity. Okay, is it clear? Yes. A vector can be represented by a line segment. Its length indicates magnitude and arrow indicates the direction. See, this is the length part and this is the arrow. Okay. The length part is indicated as A and the head part is indicated as B. Okay. Displacement, velocity, acceleration are considered as an examples for the vector. Okay. The SI unit of both distance and displacement, both are having the same units, that is meter, M-E-T-E-R, meter. Okay. And it is denoted by the letter small m, small m. Other units like kilometers, centimeters, etc. are also used to express this quantity. We know that 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meters. 1 kilometer is equal to 1000 meters and 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. Okay. Now I am giving a small task. Okay, small task, simple one. Position. In figure A, the person has to reach from beginning to ending. Okay. In this picture, the person starts his journey from this beginning point and he traveled along this path and finally reached to the final destination. Okay. I think he covered a lot of distance, a lot of path. He traveled, he had a long journey to reach his final destination. Okay. Is there any shortcut to reach from starting initial position to the ending position? That means I am asking, draw the displacement vector. What I am asking is, I am asking the shortcut, shortest path. That means nothing but displacement vector. Okay. In the second situation also, draw the displacement vector. It is the distance covered by the object. Okay, it is the distance covered by the object. It is the longest path to reach its final destination. What is the displacement vector for the two pictures? Please open your notebooks and note down the key points and draw the displacement vectors and send it to me. Okay. Generally, distance covered and displacements both are time dependent quantities. Okay, both are time dependent quantities. Why? Because how can we define the displacement and the distances? How can we define both are dependent on time. If it reaches to its final destination in the lesser time, then it is said to be displacement. If it taken longest time, if it covered more time to reach its final destination, then it is said to be the distance. So both are time dependent quantities. To explain motion in a very clear manner, it is very essential to know about the average speed and average velocity. Average speed and average velocity. Okay. Children, just imagine there is a train named Godavari Express. Okay. At 5 p.m., the Godavari Express started at Visakhapatnam, and it has to travel along and it has to reach, finally it has to reach Hyderabad. It has to start at Visakhapatnam at 5 p.m. Okay. It traveled in many paths. Some of curved paths, some of linear paths are there. It traveled and it again reached to Vijayawada, and finally after few hours, it reached to Hyderabad. For that one, it covered 720 kilometers. Okay, let it be 720 kilometers. But it reached to Hyderabad. It reached to Hyderabad at 5 a.m. in the next day. It started at 5 a.m. at Visakhapatnam and it reached to Hyderabad at 5 a.m. in the next day. That means it covered 12 hours. Okay, it has taken 12 hours. Let the distance of the entire trip from Visakhapatnam to Hyderabad is 720 kilometers. The journey time taken is 12 hours. So the distance covered by the train in each hour is equal to 720 kilometers by 12 hours. 720 kilometers by 12 hours. Then children guess what is the answer? 720 by 12. That means 12 6 are 72. Then the answer is 60 kilometers per hour. 60 kilometers per hour. That means, can you say that the train has covered exactly 60 kilometers in each hour? Can you say the train exactly covered 60 kilometers in each hour? Obviously no. What is your answer? No. Yes. This is because there may be so many variations in distance covered by the train in each hour. Just imagine in your daily life, if you are stuck in a traffic, then how can you move? You can move just like a snail. Okay, very slowly you will drive your vehicle. Otherwise, if you imagine that you are in a national highway, that you are in a highway, then how do you drive your vehicle? You can go in a very faster manner. That's why the speed is not same in all situations. So we have to take its average speed. So average speed. What is meant by average speed? The distance covered by an object in unit time is called average speed. Once again, I am repeating, children. The distance covered by an object in unit time is called average speed. So average speed is equal to total distance by time taken. What is the formula? Average speed is equal to total distance by time taken. Let the displacement of the trip 720 kilometers is the distance covered, and now displacement is, let it be 360 kilometers. Then what is the displacement in each hour? What is the displacement? The displacement per each hour is equal to 360 kilometers by 12 hours. That means 30 kilometers per hour. 30 kilometers per hour. The displacement of an object per unit time is called average velocity. Children, can you observe the difference between the average speed and average velocity? Only minute difference is there. Here, for average speed, we have to take the distance covered by an object in unit time, and for average velocity, the displacement of an object per unit time. That means for speed, we are considering distance, and for velocity, we are considering displacement. Okay. Both these quantities explains only the motion of a body in a given time interval, but not the motion in a particular instance of time. Okay. Only they will give the motion of the body in a given interval of time, not at a particular time. Okay. Think and discuss. Now I am giving one more task to you. Okay. what is the displacement of the body if it returns to the same point from where it started? What is the displacement of the body if it returns to the same point from where it started? If you started at one position and you travel at anywhere and again you reach it to the same position, same point ki meer malla vachesar, then what is your displacement? Can anybody give the answer? Any guesses? Yes. The answer is, the displacement is 0. The displacement is 0. Okay. Give one example from your daily life, children. Give an example. That means if you started at your home, you want to go to your school and again you reach it to your school, then what is your displacement? Your displacement is 0. Okay. I am giving one more problem to you. What is the average speed of a car if it covers 200 kilometers in 5 hours? What is the average speed of a car if it covers 200 kilometers in 5 hours? 200 kilometers ఉన్నటువంటి దూరాన్ని ఒక కార్ 5 గంటల్లో రీచ్ అయిపోయింది. 5 hours లో it reached the final destination. Final point ki reach అయిపోయింది. Then what is the average speed of the car? Children, what is the formula for the average speed? Do you remember that one? Yes. Now we have to write the data. The total distance covered by the car. How much distance does it cover? 200 kilometers. How much time it taken? 5 hours. So we know that average speed is equal to total distance by time taken. So we have to substitute these values in the above formula. 200 kilometers by 5 hours. What is the answer? Please give me the answer. What is the answer? 40 kilometers per hour. So the average speed of the car is equal to 40 kilometers per hour. Okay. Now, next week coming to speed. Next week came to speed. You can tell the speed of the car at any instant by looking at its speedometer. Children, do you know about the speedometer? మీరు ఎప్పుడైనా ఒక వెహికల్ ని గమనించినట్లయితే, if you observe any one vehicle, in its front part there are 2 readings, 2 meters. There are 2 meters in a circular way. One is speedometer and another one is odometer. Okay. లేదంటే ఇప్పుడే వెళ్ళేసి ఒకసారి చెక్ చేసేసేయండి. క్లాస్ అయిపోయిన వెంటనే ఉన్నాయా లేవా, మీ బైక్ ఉన్నాయా లేవా చెక్ చేసేయండి. ఓకే. The speed at any instant is called its instantaneous speed. స్పీడోమీటర్ లో కనుక మనం ఒకసారి చెక్ చేసినట్లయితే, మనం ఏ నిమిషంలోనైనా ట్రావెల్ చేస్తూ ఉన్నప్పుడు ఒకసారి దాన్ని చూస్తే దాని మీద ఉన్న రీడింగ్ ని మనం దాని ఇన్స్టాంటేనియస్ స్పీడ్ గా మనం పరిగణించవచ్చు. ఓకే. The speed is equal to distance by time. What information does the speed gives us? దీని వల్ల మనకి లాభం ఏంటి? What information does it gives? It gives us the idea of how fast the body moves. How fast the body moves. Okay. That means మనం ఏదైనా కార్లో వెళ్తున్నాము, బైక్ మీద వెళ్తున్నాము, మనకి ఒక్కోసారి బండి ఫాస్ట్ గా వెళ్ళిపోతున్నట్టు, అగైన్ ద బండి స్లో అవుతున్నట్టు మనకి రీడింగ్ చూడకుండా కూడా తెలుస్తుంది. కానీ ఎంత ఫాస్ట్ గా వెళ్తున్నాడని తెలియాలంటే ఒక్కసారి వన్స్ చెక్ ఇన్ టు ద స్పీడోమీటర్ అండ్ దెన్ we may obviously knows the how much speed the driver is moving. Okay. So and it is also one more point. The speed if we observe the speedometer carefully, we may know that the speed is not constant throughout the journey. The speed is not constant throughout the journey. So we need to define another quantity called velocity. We need to define another quantity called velocity. velocity. What is meant by velocity? It is the speed of an object in a specified direction. It is the speed of an object in a specified direction. The SI unit of velocity is meter per second. Meter per second. Children, in our daily life, we must have observed so many types of motions. Okay. In some cases, velocity of object which is in motion may be constant or not may be. There is no need to maintain the same velocity throughout our journey. It is not possible also. Okay. So, let us check about uniformic motion. If the velocity is same, then what is that motion? If the velocity is not same, then what is that motion? Okay. We will discuss them, each one of them in detail. One is uniformic motion. Okay. Children, just imagine there is a car moving on a road. There is a car moving on a road. Here, the distances covered by a car with respect to the time is given. I recorded them in a table which is having time and distance. Okay. Now, the car time is taken in seconds and distance is taken in meters. Now, the car had covered 4 meters distance in 1 second, 8 meters distance in 2 seconds, 12 meters distance in 3 seconds, and 16 meters distance in 4 seconds. If you observe the table carefully, it is very much clear that the time intervals are same with respect to the distance. Is it right? The time intervals are same with respect to the distance. Okay. If you draw a graph between the time and the distance by taking time in x-axis and distance in y-axis, then what is the graph? The graph will be just like a straight line. The graph will be just like a straight line for uniformic motions for any object. If the motion is uniform, then the graph between the time and distance is always a straight line. So, we define it as the motion of a body is said to be uniformic motion when its velocity is constant. When its velocity is constant, then that motion is said to be uniformic motion. Okay, children, note down. Next one coming to non-uniformic motion. Uniformic motion, non-uniformic motion. If you observe the motion of some vehicles, their velocity changes with respect to the time. Okay, those motions are said to be non-uniformic motion. If the velocity is same, then that motion is said to be uniformic motion, and if the velocity is not same, then the motion is said to be non-uniformic motion. Okay, here the distance covered by a car with respect to the time is given in this table. Just again observe this table. Here also time is taken in seconds and distance is taken in meters. Here, if you observe the table carefully, same distance is not maintained in particular interval of times. Same distance is not covered by that vehicle in the same intervals of time. So, this motion is said to be non-uniformic motion. Children, guess in uniformic motion, the graph between the time and the distance is just like a straight line. Then, what is the graph for a non-uniformic motion? What is the graph for a non-uniformic motion? Is it straight line just like the uniformic motion? Is it a straight line? No. The answer is no. It may be curved. Maybe. Okay. Observing the motion of a ball on an inclined plane. Now, we are dealing with an activity which is related to the inclined plane. Okay. For this one, to understand this concept in a very clear manner, I am doing an activity. Children, observe this activity very carefully. Okay. Now, here I taken one inclined plane. Okay. I taken one inclined plane. Here, this inclined plane is making some angle with a horizontal floor. This inclined plane is making an angle with a horizontal floor. Now, I made one paper ball. So with this inclined plane and a paper ball, I am doing this activity. Here, take the paper ball and put at the top of the inclined plane. Take a paper ball and put at the top of the inclined plane. Okay, children, if I leave this paper ball, in which direction does the paper moves? In which direction does the paper moves? Either it moves to downward direction, or it moves to upward direction, or left or right. In which direction, children? Yes? Yes. Your answer is right. If I leave this paper ball, it moves towards the down to the inclined plane. Again check, it moves towards to the down to the inclined plane. This is only because of the gravitational force. This is only because of the gravitational force. Here, the earth is always having the gravitational force, and because of the gravitational force, the earth attracts this paper ball towards the ground. Okay. So, in this situation, I have taken three cases. At t is equal to 1 second, we have to observe the speed and direction of the ball. At every instance, when t is 2 seconds, in this situation also, we have to observe the speed and direction of this ball. And when t is 3 seconds, then also we have to observe. At the first case, when the ball is in rest position, that means which is at the top of the inclined plane, there is no speed and there is no motion. There is no movement in this ball. When I leave this ball, it just rolls like this with a speed and reaches to the position at t is equal to 1 second and reaches to the position. Okay, that means in this situation, the ball covered this path, covered this distance. Okay, and after 1 second, that means when t is equal to 2, again the ball rolls like this and reaches this place. In the same way, when t is equal to 3 seconds, that means after 3 seconds, the ball again reaches to the ground. In all of its journey, through all of its journey, the ball continuously changes its speed. That means in this situation, in the inclined plane situation, the speed of the ball increases gradually, increases and finally reaches to the ground. That means in this situation, we have a clear observation that the direction is constant, but the speed changes. Here, in each and every situation, the ball continuously changes its speed, but its direction may not changes. So, okay, from this activity, it is very clear. If we do this activity again in the reverse process, that means again take this inclined plane and again we have to take the paper ball. If you push this ball to the upper direction, then also its speed gradually increases and finally after some time when it reaches to the top position of the inclined plane, its speed gradually decreases. Okay, but its direction may not be changes, but its direction does not changes. It moves in the topward direction. In the first case, when we leave this ball from the top of the inclined plane, it moves towards the ground. That means it does not change its direction. But in the reverse process, in this one also, the speed gradually changes, but the direction does not changes. So children, from this activity, it is clear that the direction of the motion is constant, speed changes. What? Once again repeat along with me. In this activity, the direction of motion is constant, but the speed changes. Okay. Next, coming to next one, coming to an activity, observing uniform circular motion. Our activity is you observing the uniform circular motion. Okay. In previously, we discussed about uniform circular motion and its graph, and we discussed about non-uniformic motion and its graph also. Now, we will dealing with uniform circular motion. Okay. For this one, for this activity, you have to do, you reel a stone which is tied to the end of a string continuously. That means take a stone or a pebble. Okay, take a stone or a pebble and tie to a one string. ఒక తాడు ఒకటి తీసుకొని దానికి ఒక పేపర్ బాల్ అయితే స్టోన్ ఏదైనా తీసుకొని టైట్ గట్టిగా టై చేసేసి దెన్ you have to reel in any direction, either in clockwise direction, in anti-clockwise direction. That means savya disalonaina kani, apasavya disalonaina kani. If you reel the stone, then you must have observed two things. There are two things you have to be observed. The first one is you have to observe the path of the motion, and the second one is velocity vectors at different situations. The first one is you have to observe path of its motion. Okay, see, when you reel a stone, okay, just like this, then the path must be the circular path. The path must be the circular path. And the second one, if you observe that motion, then we may observe the different types of velocities. See here, this is the circular path, and here we have different types of velocity vectors. This is one velocity vector. Here we have one more. Here we have another one more. That means each of these velocity vectors are different to each other. They are not similar to each other. They are very much different to each other. So from this observation, it is clear that the path is in circle, and the direction of the velocity changes at every instant of time. Okay, but the speed is constant. In this activity, the speed is constant and the direction is changes. In the previous activity, the inclined plane, in that inclined plane activity, the speed changes, direction constant. In that activity, speed is always changes, but the direction is constant. In this activity, in this uniform circular motion activity, the speed is constant and the directions are always changes. Okay, very good. For this one, I have one example. See this. What is this? What is this picture, children? This is a clock. Okay, if you observe those two things which we observed in this activity, the same things if you observed, those are also same with respect to the clock. That means its motion is just like the circular one. Its motion is circular motion, and its directions changes. Its velocity changes with respect to the its direction also changes. So this is an example for uniform circular motion. Okay. Next one, third activity. Observing the motion of an object thrown into air. Thrown into air. Children, ఈ యాక్టివిటీని ప్రతి ఒక్కళ్ళు ఏదో ఒక టైంలో మీరు ఖచ్చితంగా చేసే ఉంటారు. ఎవరో ఒకళ్ళ మీద చెట్టు మీద చింతమకాయలు సంథింగ్ అట్లాంటి వాటికో ఉసిరికాయలకో దేనికో దానికి యాక్టివిటీ మనం ఖచ్చితంగా మన డైలీ లైఫ్ లో ఎప్పుడో ఒకసారి చేసే ఉండుంటాము. ఓకేనా? సో నౌ కమింగ్ టు దిస్ యాక్టివిటీ, throw a stone into air. Throw a stone into air while making some angle with the horizontal. While making some angle with the horizontal. Okay, that means it is perpendicular to each other. Then if you observe that path, then is the speed of the stone uniform, children? Is the speed of the stone uniform? No, it's never in the same direction, and it's not moves in the same velocity also. Okay, and and the second question is the direction of motion constant? No, that means we noticed that speed and direction of motion both continuously changes. Speed and direction of motion both continuously changes. So from these three activities, in the inclined plane activity, speed changes, direction constant. In uniform circular motion, speed constant, direction changes. In this activity, both two also changes. Speed also changes and as well as direction also changes. So from these here I have one more example, children. See this picture. Here there is a girl she kicked the football. This is also an example for this activity. So in this activity, it changes its direction. Okay. So I gathered one more example. That is rocket, motion of a rocket. While the rocket is in motion, its speed changes as well as direction also changes. So these two are the examples for this activity. Children, in your daily life, you may observe so many motions just like this. Okay. Now, from these three activities, you can conclude that the change in velocity takes place in three ways. The change in velocity takes place in three ways. Number one, those are speed changes with direction remaining constant. Speed changes with direction remaining constant. And the second thing is direction of motion changes with speed remaining constant. Direction of motion changes with speed remaining constant. And the last one, the third point is both direction and speed changes simultaneously. Both direction and speed changes simultaneously. Children, this statement is from inclined plane activity, and this statement is from uniform circular motion, and this statement is we collected from the motion of an object which is thrown into air. From these three activities, we concluded these three statements. Children, do you understand? Okay. Children, I hope you enjoyed the class very carefully. Okay, you enjoyed the class a lot. Okay. Now we will recall what the key concepts till now we discussed. Okay. Those are motion, relative, displacement, distance, speed, velocity, average speed, average velocity, uniformic motion and its graph also we discussed, and non-uniformic motion and its graph also we discussed. Okay, children? So, what we have learned till now, what we have learned. Okay. Now, we will again recall all the main concepts. First one, firstly, we discussed about motion. Okay. So, motion is a relative one. It depends upon the observer. Motion is a relative one. It depends upon the observer. Distance is the length of path covered by an object in a given interval of time. Next, coming to displacement. Displacement is the shortest distance covered by the object in a specified direction. Displacement must always needs a particular direction. So that's why only it belongs to a vector quantity. Next one, speed. Speed gives the idea of how fast the body moves. Next one, coming to velocity. Velocity is the speed of an object in specified direction. Next one, uniformic motion and non-uniformic. If the motion is said to be uniformic when its velocity is constant, and the graph for this one is also a straight line. The graph is just like a straight line. The motion of a body is said to be non-uniformic motion when its velocity changes with respect to the time. Children, guess what is the graph for the uniformic motion? Is it a straight line? No, it's not. It's never be a straight line, just like the uniformic motion. Okay, children, did you noted all the points? Once again, see, from the first point to the 7th point, you have to collect all the key concepts. Okay, these are very, very essential, very useful to your daily life also. Next one, children, I will give a small home assignment to all of you. Those are very, very interesting. Okay, it is very easy also. You have to do with your own. Okay, first one, I'm giving a project work. Collect few examples for motion of an object where its speed remains constant but velocity changes. Once again, I'm repeating. Collect few examples for motion of an object where its speed remains constant but velocity changes. And the second one, which topic do you like mostly in this lesson and why? Which topic do you like mostly? Either speed and velocity, scalar and vector, either distance or displacement. Which concept, either anything, which concept do you like mostly? Write them in your notebook and you have to write the reason for it also in your own words. Okay. Next one, coming to make a short notes till now what we have learnt. Okay, make a short notes till now what we have learnt. Okay. Children, note down all the home assignment in your notebooks. I hope you enjoyed the class very well. Thank you. Thank you for giving this opportunity. Stay home. Stay safe. Thank you.